Hey y'all, today I'm AKM and today I'm going to be reviewing episode 70 of Gegege no鬼太郎. And I gotta say, even though this episode wasn't the strongest Gegege no鬼太郎episode after a string of powerful after powerful after powerful Gegege no鬼太郎episodes stringed back to back to back by Toei's amazing staff, this episode was still pretty good actually. And let me explain why. I like its premise of it not being a conflict introduced by yokai in this specific episode, but I like how this time it's a conflict between humanity and a god, or nature, so to say, because I like how right off the bat it introduces in natural dialogue that there's this town that's protected by this mountain god called Tantanambo, and essentially he's got like this spirit stone, and this family called the Ogata family is in charge of protecting that spirit stone, because if anything falls on that stone, essentially what's going to happen is a curse is going to fall on the Ogata family, and the Tantanabo is going to be really, really fucking pissed. And I like how they established that by showing us a flashback of the past. And then they transition towards current days where Kento, since he's part of the Ogata family, he does not want to be bound by this type of duty anymore at all. So I kind of like its unique premise, because at the start of the episode it kind of makes you think, yeah, this kind of sucks. Because if you really break it down, it kind of does suck for Kento, because he's born into this life without even able to make like a decision. He's pretty much got to deal with it. And I like how he imparts ways when he just wants to like harm this rock. Gitaro's even telling him that even though things aren't exactly fair for Kento, if he harms the rock, there's going to be a curse that's going to befall on him. And I was like, damn! Normally when a human wants to do something rash, Kitarou would be talking more viciously, but this time, no, Kitarou, like, he talks with like a smidge of sympathy, but at the same time with like a warning-like tone. And I like that, how Gitaro's actors can portray just a good amount of emotions in like a few lines. So that's what really made this episode lively. And additionally, I like how as the episode progressed, you have Kitarou explain the story about the Tantanabo Spirit Stone, how these two men try to like fucking break the rock and use it for research, but then the Tantanabo god pretty much cursed them and they both died. And what happened is the pretty much a Tantanabo made the grandfather of Kento sick, because Kento's grandfather, because here's the thing, Kento became sick, so the old man pretty much sacrificed himself like a boss by getting his money from these two rich people. The thing is, these two people went too far. They broke the stone, and that's how these two people died. And I was like, damn, that's pretty extreme. But in a way, this, from a story standpoint, this actual episode actually did a decent job, since when we see Kento, most of the time he kind of acts kind of mean, but this episode kind of shows us why he acts kind of mean. And additionally, during this episode, you don't want to see much harm happen to Kento to a certain extent, because, I mean, at times when I was watching the episode, I was like, damn, I can't feel sympathy for him. But then I just remembered, damn, his grandfather did sacrifice his own life, to help Kento out. So I kind of like that. And this episode really made me feel conflicted in a good way. And that's what I also enjoy specifically about this episode. And then I like how this episode mindfucks you, because it makes it seem like Kento actually destroys the Tantanabo rock, and then it leads into a semi-sad sequence, at least for me, when you see his friends cursed, and then his girlfriend cursed Chinatsu, even though she didn't do anything wrong. She just happened to touch the rock, and I was like, oh shit. And I like it because it had nice horror elements. I was feeling scared, and I like that, because Gegege no鬼太郎is one of the few animes that can actually make me feel fear. And I've seen some horror animes like Another, where they don't make me feel fear at all, because they don't really make me give a shit about characters. Well, in this anime for Gegege no鬼太郎, actually do care about the characters. So seeing Kento's friends getting harmed was just crazy and mind-boggling, and even had some like Final Destination vibes. One of his friends was like getting all like fogged up with like this black thing that was like disintegrating him, and then he gets hit by a fucking truck, and I was like, whoa. But then I like how near the end it shows you that it was just a sandwich hallucination, because Kento wasn't listening to Kitarou, and Kitarou pretty much told him, if you go through with this, those things that happen to your friends is most likely going to happen to you, and Kento pretty much changes his mind. And I like that sequence because, for one, it gave me some good scares, and while yes, you could chalk it up to false suspense because it didn't actually happen, in the case of Gegege no Kitarou, it's actually a wonderful way of utilizing false suspense, because for one, when horror movies utilize false suspense, it's usually because horror movies, the ones that utilize false suspense, are the bad ones, where you think something cool happens, yeah, it didn't happen. Here in Gegege no Kitarou, the main purpose of this episode wasn't to give us suspense, it was to teach Kento a lesson. And also it worked because in a way you didn't want to see Kento harmed, because his grandfather did sacrifice his own life to make sure he was fine. So in a way, it utilized false suspense properly, because I actually breathed a sign of relief, especially since his friend Shinatsu was safe. So I like that. Masterfully utilizing it to its advantage. And then when the episode ends off with Kento accepting his responsibility of protecting the Tantanabo Spirit Stone, I kind of like that, because you get to see him go through a character development arc where he went from wanting to leave behind his destiny to now accepting it at this point. I actually kind of like that, and you see some character development. So I also like this episode from the story standpoint and the character standpoint for these reasons. And I like how it had the nice moral message too of life ain't exactly fair. And you gotta pretty much hold up your head high no matter what type of card you're dealt. In this case, Kento was dealt the card of having to be the guardian of the stone. Even though he doesn't necessarily want to do that, he's gonna have to, because if he doesn't do that, then the fucking Tantanabo god's gonna pretty much cause him to be cursed. So I kinda like that, because it gives viewers of the series the message of, yeah, life, it's really not gonna be fair to you all the time. You just gotta suck it up and take it. So I liked that message about this episode. And aside from that, this episode had a lot of great character moments too, because this episode was actually a human on human, or you could say a human on god conflict. And some of the previous episodes in Gegege no Kitarou, they kind of established that, with the exception of special exceptions like, say, if Monon revolved, obviously Kitarou would interfere. But usually they established that when it comes to human on human conflict, normally Kitarou wouldn't interfere. But I kind of like how in this episode, I mean, I guess you could say, like, since God is since Tantanabo is some kind of god, then I guess you could say that it falls into the supernatural category. But like how in this instance, it does show you that Kitarou is, if there's a kin involved, he's also got a soft spot for them. It shows you that he has a soft spot, because he actually interfered to get the stone back that belonged to the Tantanabo Spirit Stone, and he actually helped get it back so that at the very least Kento would be safe. So I kind of, at least as a kid, so I kind of like that specific instance about this episode, showing off again, Kitarou does have a soft spot towards kids, and I like how they show it through his actions, not through words. And I like how this episode shows off kind of a follow-up too, because he brought Sandwich to try to convince Kento not to break the stone, and it worked. But you kind of remember, Kento is a kid now, so it kind of shows you that. It kind of implies that if Kitarou met that individual as a kid, then there's a good chance he might even try to do a follow-through, and if they're in danger, he might go through the efforts of helping that person out too, because to bring Sandwich in to help out, that is pretty cool, and it tells you a lot about Kitarou's compassionate nature. So I like these episodes. They give more layers into Kitarou's personality, so I like that. And I thought Kento was a good character too, because all things considered, yeah, it's kind of a fucked up life to be guarding a stone, not being able to leave the town and being bound by it. I think most people in that situation would probably feel the same way. So like how it felt realistic to an extent. And to see his development of wanting to protect the stone because he has no other choice is a nice bit of character development. So I like that. I thought his girlfriend Shinatsu, I'm assuming girlfriend, was a pretty nice character too when he warned him not to do anything. I like that. And it was nice to get to see Sandwich have her moments too to help persuade Kenta not to do anything to the stone. And that's what I thought I did well from the character standpoint. As for the animation, it wasn't the strongest, but it wasn't bad. I thought got the job done. Art was actually pretty good. And I like the OST and the voice performances. And I'm going to rate this episode of a scale of 1 to 10, with 1 being abysmal, 10 being exceptional, and 5 being average. I'm going to rate this 7 out of 10. I thought it was above average. So anyways, y'all, these are my thoughts on Gegege no Kitarou episode 70. Be sure to comment on your thoughts in the episode comment section below. Rate the video, subscribe, comment, and I'll see you guys later if you come back for more. Alright, thank you all so much for watching, everyone. Have a great safe day. Bye-bye.